The Transitional Ducks program and being a foster parent through the Transitional Ducks program, it's a joy because it's just a 30-day to 90-day program. We get to welcome children into our home and just help them really adjust to life here in the United States. Many of them have different cultural backgrounds, and it's always fun and exciting to get to teach them a little bit about what America is like and introduce them into our family and just love on them. Many of them are very loving, very excited to be here and looking forward to the next stage of their life. Our kids have come into the United States multiple different ways. One of our kids from Guatemala actually traveled by semi-truck, by train, and then finally when he made it across the river and was in Texas, he was injured when he was being pushed along as they were running from immigration. And he laid there injured, and because he couldn't move fast enough, he was left behind by the group and spent the next 3 days walking across Texas trying to find home. He knew Houston was home, and so he asked people along the way, and finally his injury got the best of him, and as well as hunger, and he turned himself in. Another one of our girls, who's 11, from Honduras, came literally by foot, walked for 45 days across each country to get into the United States. We learn their story when they actually arrive at our home, and they've been interviewed as to why they're here in this country, how they came here, who they came with, and who they're hoping to go see. Many of them will have a phone number memorized of who their sponsor is going to be. Sometimes it's their mom or another relative that's here in the United States, and literally from my home that phone call is made for the first time to let them know that their child is here in the United States and that they're safe, and what the process is for that sponsor. We've been foster parents through Lutheran Social Services for 6 years and have had the opportunity to foster 28 kids, 11 of those being through the Ducks program. And one of the major differences that we've seen is that the expectation from the Transitional Ducks is very different than domestic kids. You're a part of their journey, you're a stop along their way. So their expectations of you are different in that they're not looking for a place to call home or your home to be their home. They're not looking for you to be their mom and dad or to fill that spot for them. They're just looking for a safe place to be. They're so grateful to have a warm bed to sleep in and food to eat and just some toys to enjoy. And for us, we have biological children as well, and it's very different because their expectations of them are different as well. They see them more as friends than brothers and sisters, and that's been emotionally a much different journey than it has been for our domestic kids. Some of the challenges about having Transitional Ducks for us have been obviously the language barrier. We went into this knowing no Spanish whatsoever as of 7-8 months ago. So we've been learning Spanish from the kids themselves, which has been funny. We've had 4-year-olds correct our Spanish. When the kids are upset or crying, they're sad, you're not exactly sure why, and it's hard to always use a translation app on your phone or on the computer to figure out what's going on in their heart. You really are limited in the ability to help them. But one great thing about this program is the caseworkers have been amazingly supportive. Any time of night we've been able to call and get the support of our caseworkers who can speak Spanish and can explain what's going on. One night we had our Transitional Ducks out to dinner at one of our favorite burger places, and this was about 3 weeks into one of the girls being at our home. She was 11 years old, and she's looking around the restaurant saying light and chair and table, and then she looks at me and she says, "Sexy and I know it?" Because that was one of the few English words that she had known and wondered all this time what that meant because she had heard it in music. So that was pretty funny to try to explain. Sometimes it's been a challenge to have kids go home just within the 30-day period. We've had some that have really taken our hearts home with them in that 30-day time period. But it's also a joy because within the first week they're really uncomfortable, they're not sure what to expect from you, what to expect from America and this program that they're just learning about. And then within the next week they start to open up, and then the third week usually they really open up and you get to see their personality and learn a lot more about them. They become more trusting and really become attached to you as well.